Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Jerry Jones delivers even more bad news about Dak Prescott's injury. It's been a weird 24 hours for the Dallas Cowboys. In the span of about 90 minutes on Tuesday, Jerry Jones made two moves that could not be more contradictory. He traded for a wide receiver at the deadline, indicating the team still thinks there's hope for a playoff run, and then announced that his starting quarterback wasn't coming back anytime soon. It was a chaotic yet weirdly on-brand morning for Jones, whose GM acumen has stayed front and center in the spotlight this season as things have continued to fall off the rails. But new wide receiver Jonathan Mingo won't be catching passes from Prescott anytime soon, as Jones announced that the team is likely to put Dak Prescott on injured reserve. He broke the news during his weekly interview with local Dallas radio station 105.3 The Fan. "It's iffy," Jones said about Prescott's injury timeline. "But it's an extended period of time here. I wouldn't dare make a prediction on when it could be, but it's likely that we'll IR him. So we'll see kind of how his rehab goes." All in all, it's not surprising to hear that Prescott's headed to IR. That always felt like a growing possibility once reports started surfacing after Week 9's loss to Atlanta that his injury was far worse than originally thought. In fact, when Jones came out immediately after the game and said he was concerned with the injury, the writing was on the wall. Now, the Cowboys will have to try and climb back to .500 before Christmas without Prescott. Not only that, but 3 of their next 4 games, the minimum amount of time that any player is required to miss when put on IR, are against NFC East opponents. The silver lining, if you're into that sort of thing, is that 3 of their next 4 games, Eagles, Texans, Giants, are at home. For the sake of our collective sanity, we're just going to ignore the fact that they haven't won a home game yet this season. Jones also talked a bit about the decision to go with Cooper Rush over Trey Lance, although he left the door open for both of them to see action over the next month. But when you're debating the merits of starting Cooper Rush or Trey Lance in early November, that speaks for itself. Cowboys vs. Eagles in NFC East, coaches, players, more stats. The Philadelphia Eagles and Dallas Cowboys entered the season with Super Bowl hopes and dreams based on the perceived strengths of their rosters and recent success. Certainly, both teams would continue to at least run the NFC East. Since 2016, the Eagles and Cowboys have finished first or second in the division every season but one. The Washington Commanders won the NFC East in 2020, the COVID year, with a 7-9 record. Both head coaches, Nick Sirianni and Mike McCarthy, faced intense scrutiny after playoff missteps. Both teams had to replace iconic offensive linemen in Jason Kelce, Eagles, and Tyron Smith, Cowboys. Both teams have high-paid quarterbacks trying to prove they can not only get to a Super Bowl, but win one. Both spent big on wide receivers. One franchise shelled out major money at running back, the other did not. Both franchises hired proven defensive coordinators with head coaching experience. As they meet Sunday at AT&T Stadium for the first time this season, only the 6-2 Eagles remain a Super Bowl contender. At 3-5, the Cowboys' season is in a tailspin, and now they will have to play without Dak Prescott for at least the next 4 games. ESPN Nation reporters Tim McManus, Eagles, and Todd Archer, Cowboys, look at what has gone right and wrong so far in 2024. Dallas Cowboys McCarthy entered the season without a contract beyond this season, and it's difficult to see owner/general manager Jerry Jones handing out a new contract for 2025 and beyond based on how the season has gone. Not all of it has been in McCarthy's control with the structure of the roster and the injuries suffered to so many key players, including Prescott's TRP to injured reserve, hamstring, for at least the next month. But he does bear responsibility for the fall-off in offensive production, just as he deserved the credit for how well it went in his first year as a play caller last season. Philadelphia Eagles. It hasn't exactly been a walk in the park for Sirianni. His in-game decision-making has routinely come into question, including last week when his aggressiveness backfired in what should have been a blowout win against the Jacksonville Jaguars. He jousted with fans and was serenaded with boos and fire Nick chants during a close win against the Browns Week 6. But a 4-game win streak has calmed the waters a bit and strengthened the voices of his defenders, who are quick to note that he has the best winning percentage, .678, in team history. Dallas Cowboys: Prescott is out until December 9, if not longer, due to his injured hamstring. Hours before the season started, he agreed to a 4-year, $240 million contract that made him the highest-paid player in NFL history. His production in the first 7+ games has not been good enough. He had 11 touchdown passes and 8 interceptions. He became the first Cowboys quarterback to have 3 straight games with multiple interceptions since Troy Aikman in 1992. A year after finishing second in the MVP voting and leading the NFL in touchdown passes, 36, this season has been nothing but a disappointment for Prescott. Philadelphia Eagles: The effectiveness of the ground game has made life easier for Jalen Hurts, who has 0 giveaways the past 4 games after turning the ball over 7 times in the first 4 contests. The offense is evolving under offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, with motion, under center plays, and play action on the rise. Hurts has reacted well to the changes while also successfully taking over pre-snap protections from Kelsey this season. After an inconsistent showing last season, Hurts appears to be rounding back into form. They were willing to go with a running back by committee after losing Tony Pollard in free agency. They did not explore the addition of free agent Derrick Henry, who is now running wild for the Baltimore Ravens. They certainly didn't look into Saquon Barkley, who signed with the Eagles. Perhaps none of them would be any better, considering how the offensive line has played, but the reunion with Ezekiel Elliott has not worked. The addition of Dalvin Cook hasn't either. Thanks to last week's 137-yard effort, the Cowboys rank 31st in rushing. Philadelphia Eagles: The Eagles went out of character and spent a good bit of money, 3 years, $37.75 million, on a running back, believing Barkley was a special player and would be rejuvenated in this talent-rich offense. Boy, were they right. From reverse leaping a Jaguars defender Sunday to averaging more than 10 yards per carry against his old team, the Giants, in Week 7, Barkley has been a marvel. Philadelphia has switched its offensive identity to be more run-heavy because of him, helping spark this recent string of success. The idea that running backs can't be major difference makers in today's NFL is being dispelled by Barkley, run after game-altering run. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones says they're trading for new wide receiver. In his weekly radio interview, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said the team planned to bring in a wide receiver today that they really liked when he was coming in via the draft, via Todd Archer. The implication from Jones was that the Cowboys would be trading for this player before today's trade deadline, and he later confirmed that it's worth noting Panthers WR Jonathan Mingo has come up as a potential player who could be on the move before the trade deadline, and the Cowboys hosted Mingo for an official draft visit in 2023. Mingo was a second-round pick just last season, but after a horrific rookie year, he slipped behind UDFA WR Jalen Coker on the depth chart in 2024. Carolina might already be willing to cut bait and get what they can. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Tetairoa McMillan? Leave your opinion in the comments.